Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Dutchman Plays Mahjong Soul Log Review. Today we're going to be using Mortal AI Mahjong Engine to review one of our games that we played this week. It's a game we got 4th place in. We're going to see if it can tell us whether we're on track, off track, what we should be doing instead. So to start with, let's go over the where you can find it. Mortal.eq.moe is how you can get to this front page. From here, how did we get to our replay? Online service, perhaps, over here on the left. And then it'll take you to Mahjong AI Utilities. Review your gameplay with you. It'll pop you into this little thing. And you can see right here is where you can post your Mahjong Soul log. It'll auto-detect who you were playing as. You can pick the engine to run it through. And there's all these nice little things you can do. You'll click the submit button and it'll pull up a replay examination just like this one. So this is going to show you all the things that happened. It's going to give you breakdowns at the start of every turn, what the scores are at, what position these players should end at. And we're going to go through this step by step and see how we did. It doesn't show you what the state of the board is in these little drop-down menus. By default, if you and the Mortal bot had the same decision for each decision point, then these are concealed. It only shows you by default the ones where you were different than the bot. It disagreed with what you chose to do. And it ranks your move on a list. This was the number 3 best move, this was the number 2 best move. But yeah, so I think that's a pretty simple basic explanation. Let's go ahead and get into it. Just gonna reset this one real quick. So I've already got my game open over here. We're gonna kind of be going through it side by side because, again, it doesn't show you the board state. And when you get to places like this, where it tells you to discard a 5 instead of a 2, well, we want to know what the board looked like so we can see why the AI thought this was the right move. Oopsies. Mahjong Soul went absolutely nuts out here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello? Hello? Excuse me. I don't even know how it did that. It went straight to the end of the game? Come on. Relax. Bro, we got knocked out. Are you kidding me? What was this game? Alright. Anyways. So we start off the game, we're in East 1. We got roamed by the person across from us. Or the person across from us roamed, it doesn't say who they hit. To start off the game, we drew the East, and I discarded the red, it recommended the East. The second hand, we drew the 1. I discarded the East, it recommended the green dragon. These are kind of going to be, you know, just random. Discard your terminals and your honors first. Or your honors before your terminals. Trying to play as efficient as possible. Everything else it agreed with, all the way until we got to turn 8. Let's see what happened on turn 8 there. Turn 8, we drew the 9, and we can see that the player across is Ricci. So, the Mortal bot was introduced to me by a friend who also plays a lot of Mahjong and is very good. And he said that the AI kind of makes 2 decision paths. If it is defending against a Ricci, it will either discard only the safest tiles every single time if it thinks it's not worth fighting against, or it will fight with everything it has if it thinks your hand is better. So in this case, we drew the 9, we discarded our 2, which was Suji to the 5. It's a pretty good choice. But the game recommended, Mortalbot recommended dropping the 5, Even though it's less efficient for drawing tiles, it's safer against the Ricci. We could have avoided getting hit here if we had done this. The 5 was at 49% probability. The 2 was at 22%. It really didn't like the 2, but I definitely could have done worse. Turn 9, it's probably going to be the same thing. It still knows that the 5 is safe, and I don't have another 2. I discarded the 1, which is definitely not safe. Let's actually play through it a little bit. The 2 comes out. I don't have another 2. So I draw the 5. I discarded the 1. The game recommends the 5 still because the 5 is still guaranteed safe. Its second best was the 2 and the 3 of dots. Probably because the 3s are taken by the left. Well, the 3 is guaranteed safe, right? But it still recommended the 2 above it. So I'm guessing the 1s and the 2s... The 2 lets me keep my tempi, or my hand shape better. The 3 would be guaranteed safe, but if I had to pick a tile to discard, it wanted me to drop the 2 or the 5. The 3 was only slightly worse than the 2, and the 2 is only slightly worse than the 5. Well, the 2 is marginally worse than the 5. Anyways, we fought tooth and nail. Once we had made those plays, discarding the 1, it's like, okay, yeah, you're good. You draw the 1, you discard the 1. Turn 11, you draw the 6, go Ricci. Modal agrees with that. We draw the 1, we discard the 1. We draw the 6, and we are tempi. So the game says go Ricci on the 6. Or discard the 2 for Ricci. Yeah, this was the recommended tile. And then at this point, there's nothing more you can do. So the AI stops, and it's just that you got roamed. Is the end result there. Here comes a 7. The 7 gets roamed. I don't think the replay viewer works. I think that's only for Tenho. But we're on to East 2-1. As you can see, we have a 44% chance of getting 4th place now. We still have a 25% chance of getting 3rd for last place avoidance. But it's almost 50-50 whether we get 4th or better. So, whatever. We start off perfect. We are 4 Shanten. The game agrees, discard the West. Don't pwn the 1. Then the North. Sorry, hold on. We drop the West. It gets pwned. You draw the White, you drop the North. Turn 3, it wanted me to do something. So we drew the 7. I discarded the 9. It wanted me to keep on discarding my honors. And I can see why it did that. I think that's a good choice as well. The 7 can draw a 7. We can draw the 8. We shouldn't have dropped the 9 here. But we were trying to go for a Chitoitsu. Trying to make a 7 pairs hand. And that's not what that's not what Mortal recommended. Let me actually bring this down a bit. So we haven't discarded the green yet. We drop the 9 instead. Turn 4 comes around. We draw the 4 of dots. I discarded the 2. It wants me to still discard this green dragon. And this is going to happen for a while. Until I discard this green, it's going to keep on telling me to discard that green. But I was hedging my bets at either Chitoi or Yakuhai, something to just kind of pull this hand out of the gutter. But the game's like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be discarding your honors every single turn until you have better shapes. So turn 4, we don't discard the green, we drop something else instead. Turn 5. Oh, turn 4, it says skip the 4, and we also did that. Turn 5, we draw the 2. I discarded the 5, it wanted the green still. Collapse these as we finish them. Turn 6, we draw the 6, which is Dora. It wants me to discard the 4. I discarded the East. Why the 4 here? And why not the East? Is it thinking the East is going to be safer later? Details. So the green and the... all these honors are at the same level, but this 4 is like super up there. What do we see? I don't see anything that tells me that the 4 should go. Maybe it doesn't want to take the 3 away from the 1s and 2s if I draw it. I don't know. That one's got me stumped. But that's why we're doing this, is try and figure it out. One turn at a time. Alright, turn 7. Oop. Maybe it thinks someone's Tempai and the 4 was the safest tile I had. No, the East are safe. What is it talking about? Alright, turn 7. We draw the 7 and discard the 7. Did I really do that? Okay. It wanted me to discard the green, and I don't know why I'm still hanging on to it. Well, because I'm looking for pairs, right? So if I'm playing a pairs hand, then I didn't want an inside tile. I don't know. I think Mortalbot hates Cheetoy as much as I do. Mortalbot hates 7 pairs as much as I do, and I don't disagree. The green was 28%, 19 for the 7, so it was the second best, but still inefficient. We skipped a call. Turn 8 happened. Turn 9, something happened. Oh, we drew a Lonely South and threw it away. That makes perfect sense. We drew the 9. It wants us to discard that 4 still. Oh, okay, so it recognizes I'm going for Cheetoy, the 7 pairs, and the 4 is just less likely to appear, especially once this 3 gets called. There's 1 4 over there. There's 1 in our hand. But if players are using the 4s, maybe the open Tanya on the right is using the 4s, this is just not going to get paired up. So we want to get rid of it. It wants us to drop the 4 first. Then the 1. Wait, I discarded the 4? Oh. Alright, well this is going to take some practice getting used to this format. I discarded the 4 here. And the game's like, you're straight up dumb. That is not even on the board. 4.5%. The game would never discard a 4. It has literally zero idea why I kept that 9. But I kept it anyways. We came to turn 11 here. The 4s got pwned, by the way. The AI probably saw that coming a mile away. We draw the 8. I discarded the 8, and it wants me to drop that 9 still. I don't think the 9 is awful for... Oh, 9 is once cut. Maybe it's pretty bad for Cheetoy, huh? Maybe I am bad. Alright, so I discarded the 8. I'm just looking for pairs. The game's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, shut up, mortal bot. You can't tell me what to do. It literally would have taken any tile in my hand over the 8. Oh my god, turn 12 is even worse. What happened on turn 12? Turn 12, we draw the 6. And I probably discarded the 6, and it's like, no, 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 no. No, no, no. Don't you even start. The green and the white are way down there now. I guess they're like pretty usable. They haven't been cut yet, so the game's like, all right, now you have to hang on to those. Those are too dangerous to drop at this point. That 9 of characters though is never gonna help you. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I know better than you, AI. Draw a discard. I don't get Ronin that south, do I? No, it's a sumo to the right. And it was the greens, so we did do the right thing here, not getting roamed. But yeah, playing the 7th worst discard, the 4th worst discard, the 5th worst discard. Probably not the best idea. And the game does not think Chitoy is a good hand. So I guess I just gotta trust my instincts. Oh man, we played this one almost perfectly. And we got sumoed to the right for 21,000 points. What the hell, man? Just mahjong things, am I right? By the way, at the start of this hand, we're 50% chance to end the game in last place. Not very inspiring. We're 3 Shan 10. Turn 2, something happened. We're just picking our honors. West, south, white. It wanted the west first, then the south, then the white. And the white was very low on their list, actually. Why is the white so good in my hand? Maybe it's not so good. Maybe the west is just that awful. Off winds upwards towards the round wind, perhaps? I don't know how it makes that decision. But after that, it agreed with everything we did. We discarded the west. We didn't call the 9. We discarded our south. We got all the way to turn 8. And we drew the 5 of dots. It wants me to discard my 1. I discarded 7. So I've got a 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess the 8s can be the pair. If I draw 4 or 7, the 8s are still the pair. If I draw 3, 6, the 8s are still the pair. And there's 1, 1 over here, so there's really no point in keeping this one. Where's the 3 of characters? It wanted 1 first, then 7. So we still got the second best discard. 3 is way down there at 6.02. So taking the double pwn weight, 8s and 1s, it did not recommend. It really hates that move. The 1 was the most efficient at 68%. It's a huge difference all the way down to that 7. And in my mind, I can't see myself cutting a pair over an actual floater. We don't lose the acceptance on the 2 though, dropping the 1. Maybe because we're in the second row and we need to start playing safe, and that's why the 1 is Genbutsu, it's Tsuji to the 4. I don't know. I don't know. But definitely we should have kept that 7. And what would have happened if we had? Well, we backfired the very next turn, so the game knew something we didn't. Once we had committed to dropping the 7, though, there's no point in keeping the 6. We'll probably end up for a 10 if we try to play back into it, and the game agrees. We drew a 2, which didn't help. We drew the East, which didn't help. Somebody dropped an 8, we didn't take it. We drew the 2 and dropped the 1. Let's go to turn 12 here. We drew the 2 of characters, we dropped the 1. And we're in the same situation we would have been if we had dropped the 1 earlier. No, because we would have had the 6, 7, right? What would we have dropped? Probably the 8. So then we would have filled the 2 and dropped the 5 and had the 6, 7 weight on 5s and 8s and characters. So we could have been Tempai right here. We could have gone Reach on this turn if we had played the hand correctly. So that's worth noting. It doesn't look like anybody else is doing anything. Nobody else is Reachy on this hand. So I guess this is kind of where the game was ours to lose, right? Interesting. We don't take a tile. We draw the 7 and go Reachy. We go Reachy on the 8, and I think we get Roaned, I guess? No, it's a Sumo to the right. So turn 13, we go Reachy. There's a Reachy to the right as well. It did want us to play this hand. Maybe because their 3 came out. Sumo to the right. And this was apparently 21,000 points. Richie, Sumo, Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora, Red. 18, 19, 20. And then there was a reach stick in the pot for 21,000 points. Garbage. Oh, they got the reach stick back. So dealer, Hane, Sumo, and then 3 reach sticks is how they got to 21,000. Cool, cool. One last thing, I want to see. What was their tile they won off of? It was 3s and 6s of dots. Blech. East 3-1. Go ahead and condense some of these guys. East 3-1, we got roamed by the player across. Our last tile, they really did not like our last discard, but just starting off, they want us to drop the south first. Turn 3. Something happened. So we're 4 shine 10. We never even got that close. 4 shine 10. It wanted us. I'm going to turn all the hands off again. We drew the 9. I discarded the 2. It wanted me to discard the 1. Discarding the 1 kind of locks us in as the pair, which is a pretty good pair to have. The 2... The 2 was 3rd on the list. It also recommended the 9, taking the inside Kanchan, inside weight. The 2 was very low on its list. Very low. What about the 3 of dots? The 3 is like even lower than that. The 1 is that good of a discard here. And the 9 is that good of a discard here. Because this is a double-sided. Why is this so good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it wants these two as floaters over this and that as floaters. I can see that. I think there's some logic there. But anyways, after that point, then it's like, don't take that one. Draw and discard the green. Draw and discard the south. Draw and discard the white. And we end up on turn 7. There are no reaches on the board. I discarded the 6 and it wanted me to discard the 9. Oh, there is a Ricci across the way. There's a Ricci tile right here. So that's why I wanted the 9. Because we've got nothing. We're not even close. We're still 3 on 10. There's no point in playing this hand. God. The 9 of dots would have been safer. The 3 is not even in the realm of possibility, nor is the 1, or the 1, or the 2, or the 2. The 6 of bamboo was a 0.3757%. I was basically asking to be roamed by discarding this 6 here. And that makes a lot of sense, right? It's on the Dora triplet. If they have a 4 or 5, waiting on 3s and 6, the 3 gives them the Dora, the 6 is just a good tile. 6 is a very bad idea. The 3 is twice as bad as the 6 is, but not by much. Drop the 9, play safe. Drop the 9, play safe. So for right now, the strategy I'm taking away from this is play very safe unless you're tempai. I think is what the bot is trying to tell me. Once you're there, you can... Oh, here's a Ryukoku. Let's see how it handles this one. Ryukyoku, we're 63% chance likely to end this game in last place. Kamicha has a 30% chance, and that's who we were aiming for. That's all we were trying to do on this one. Let's take some points from them. Our first turn comes up. I discarded the west instead of the east. Well, who could have guessed? Or Mortal wanted me to discard the east first. Because there's one east to the left, and west is my wind. I can see that. Then it wanted the 1 even before the west. Interesting. But we're just going to discard honors 1 by 1. Increase the efficiency of our hand. We get to turn 6. And how did turn 6 go? So we drew the 4. I discarded the 7. It wanted me to discard the 5? What the hell? What? I think this is Sakigiri. So you want to discard your most dangerous tiles early on so that you have safer tiles to discard later when you need to discard them, like a Ricci tile. In this case, it wants me to discard the 5, so I'll have the 7 later, which 7 is guaranteed safe to the right. And if you look, the 7th is the second best tile, just by leagues and margins, but everything else is not even on the board. This is at the very least 8%. Nothing compared to 91%, but... And I guess we're going to be discarding this sequence anyways, right? 5, then 7, because this is a double-sided Ryanman weight. This is an Itsu when we draw the 3, so It knows to play for value. The very next hand, we drew the 4 and threw it away. We drew the 9 and discarded the 5. So we did it right this time. We're still looking for that 3 or the 5-8 on the bamboo. Let's go to that hand, actually. Turn 8, we draw the 5. It still wants us to drop, or we draw the 9. It wants us to drop the 5 here for Sakigiri. And we do. This time we do it. It wanted us to do it before the 7. It would probably be 5 then 7 in this situation. And then we drop the 9 for Ricci when it comes up. The next tile, though, we draw the east. We discarded the east. And again, it's still doing Sakigiri. It wants us to drop the 9. We're a Furutan on the east. We can't do anything with this tile, but it's safer to drop the 9 now than later. The east was the very next choice, but it didn't recommend it nearly as much as the 9. Because we're just playing with a loose tile, right? And if you're going to be playing with a loose tile that you're going to discard, you want it to be as safe as possible. So upgrade your safeness on your final discard tile here. They cut the 4 to the left and we don't take it. We draw the 8, we get Ricci on turn 10. And the game agrees. It says, do the Ricci. 99.999%. You go Ricci here. Discarding the 9. Well, discarding the 9. Oh, I only had one tile to discard here. That's why, if you're going to go Ricci, it wants you to discard the 9. But it definitely says do not Dama this hand because that's stupid. Just get the Ricci points. And it's just bad luck that we didn't get the win here, I think. If the game has a 99.999% chance of going, like, telling you to Ricci, then I think it has pretty good odds of you winning. If it was a bad Ricci, then it probably wouldn't tell you to do it. You know what I mean? It probably would have wanted us to try and upgrade our weight. So we'll say this one's bad luck. The bot agreed with everything we did. And we drew it out. It just draws out. It goes all the way to the end. Nobody drops our tile. Where did they end up? Where were they? Pair to the right. Of course there was. Just because, why not? And then there's one across the way. I don't even think they have a value with that hand. They just, you know, decided to keep the 3 of characters for no reason. The guy to the left also had nothing, so that was cool. That was really cool by our opponents. Like, this guy's Tenpai, but he has no value. Alright, and we go into East 4-1. Run by Toyman for the knockout. We actually have a better chance of getting out of 4th place after that Ryukyoku. But right off the rip, it's like, hey, drop the 1 of dots. What? I draw north. I discarded the south. It wanted to drop 1 of dots at 43%. The north was at 23%. The south says never do that. Why? I see a south across the way. Is it already wanting me to protect my, like, safe discards? No, because it's never played like this before. Why the 1 of dots? Because I have a 4? Is that the kicker? What are you doing? What are you doing, game? 3-3, 6-6, 6-7. Now, this is another hand where I went for a Chitoy, I think. And I already know that Mortalbot hates Chitoy. Well, what happens after I drop the south? Don't take the 3. It still wants me to drop that 1. Every single one of these hands, it wants me to drop this one of dots. Why is this so crazy? What do you want with me? This one is poison. I can't believe that the one of dots is this much worse than random honor tiles. So turn 1, we didn't drop the 1. Turn 2, we still didn't drop the 1. Turn 3, we didn't drop the 1. Turn 4, we didn't drop the 1. Unbelievable. Turn 5, we draw the 4 and we drop the 1. This it agrees with. Turn 6, we draw the 5 and discard the 9. And it also agreed with this. The 9's got a 47%. That 1 is still up at 45%. It hates the 1 of dots in this hand. Hates it. Absolutely hates it. And he didn't ruin me, he ruined the other guy to my right. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why the 1 of dots is so poisonous. I've got a 4. So if I draw a 2, it's going to want to keep the 4 and drop the 1. If I draw a 3, it's going to want to keep the 4 and drop the 1. So I'm guessing it's just like, if you've got that 4, don't keep that 1. Oh, it's tough. It's tough trying to understand what a bot wants from you when you're not exactly good at Mahjong yourself. It's a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Anyways, we start the next hand. We discarded the correct honor on the first turn. We missed the 50-50 on the second turn, but we got it on the third. Turn 5, something happened. It wanted me to take a look at. Oopsies. So we drew the 5 of bamboo. I discarded the 5 of characters. And it wanted me to discard 2 of bamboo. The 5 wasn't even on the list. It really hated the 5 discard. Absolutely hated it. It would have taken the 2, it would have taken the 3, but not the 5. So my thinking when I dropped the 5 of characters was Sakigiri on this sequence. Drop the 5, drop the 3. The 5 is safer than, or the 5 is more dangerous than the 3 is, so you get rid of the 5 first, then the 3, right? And the reason to keep this whole block over here is you have pair options on the 2. You got a 3, 5, 7, which is a double-sided inside weight. But I've got the pair in the 8s already, so maybe that's why it doesn't like the 2. Call this a 5-7, accepting the 6. Call this a 1-4, or a 2-3, accepting the 1 and the 4. And you still also have the 3-5 looking for the 4. And this is a good pair because no matter what you draw over here, this is still going to be your pair. Okay, I think we can see the logic here. I think we can see the logic between the 2 and the 3. After that, we did it perfect though. We drew the green and discarded the 3. So turn 6 is interesting because we drew the green and kept it. And the game said this was the right move. Now that's because we've already thrown away the 5. We don't want to end up further 10 drawing back into that. The green is going to be a safe tile later on. We draw, discard the 8. We do not pawn the 2 or cheat the 2. We draw the 9 on turn 8, and we decided to keep it, and the game agreed. Now, because we're opening up easy possibilities, we still have the pair in the 2s, so thank you, me, for making the right choice earlier. I mean, it is 50-50, right, between this and the 3. It would have taken either way. It was comfortable with me dropping the 2 or the 3. And this is where we would have ended up if I had dropped the 3. So the game actually would have had to probably drop the 9, keeping the 8s the pair, right? If the game had made it to this point. Or would the game drop the 5-7? I don't know what the game would have done. I guess we'll never know. Turn 11, though, we made a big mistake. Turn 11, it hates this. It hates this move. We drew the 5 and discarded the 3. It wanted me to drop the 8. Is somebody Ricci? There's a Ricci to the right. The 3 is Suji to the 6. What did you want? You wanted the 8, you wanted the 6. So that's Suji on the 5, that's Genbutsu on the 6. Then it wants the 2, which is Suji on the 5, then the 5 itself. This is a fine pair. This accepts the 4 of characters. This is a safe discard. Safe-ish discard that doesn't push me too far away from Tenpai because I have a pair in the 2 bamboo. So this is actually a hand where my 50-50 on the 3-5 put me in a situation that I could have taken advantage of, and I chose not to. I discarded the 3, which is really dangerous, and it's forcing me to discard the 5 later, which I think is a dangerous tile. Like, once this Ricci comes out, this 2-5 is no longer safe. So drop these 8s, which are safer, and you still have your chance at winning. Especially being open for Tanya, right? Turn 12. It's still looking for us to drop that 8. It even wants me to go backwards on the 3. So we draw the 3 back. I'm committed, and this is now a safe tile. So is the 3... It's higher on the list now. It wants the 8 and the 4. The 4 just came out across the way. The 8s are still the best discard because we get to keep our chance at winning the hand. I guess because I'm so far in last, I have to just keep playing for the win. And that's why it doesn't understand why I threw my chances away by discarding the 3, and then I threw my chances away again by not discarding the 8. When you're this far in the back, it wants you to play for the win, perhaps. But we didn't. So turn 13 comes up, and we make another mistake. We drew the 6? What do you want me to do with a 6? Oh, I discarded the 5. The 5 is not safe. Yeah, categorically looking at the board, the 5 is very not safe. It wanted me to discard a 6. If you're going to throw away hard. It wanted 6, it wanted 4, it wanted 8. It did not want the 5. I guess it's given up on us winning this hand, and the 6 is definitely dangerous. It would never drop the 6 in a million years. So now it's into throw away your hand territory, and the 5 was not a safe tile to throw away on. The 6 was safe, the 4 was safe, and the 8 was Suji safe. Still pretty unlikely to get hit on the 8. The 6 was guaranteed, the 4 was guaranteed. The 6 was a killer draw that killed us, and I think we knew that when we were playing as well. Turn 14. I discarded the 7. I should have dropped the 6. We got roamed on the 7. And the game is telling us that we should not have been playing this hand. Drop the 6, drop the 4. The 7 was actually not that bad of a discard, but it definitely wanted us to play safe. The 7 was safer than the 6 was, but it did get us roamed. Well, let's do a quick summary of what we learned. If you have a 1-4, drop the 1. If you need to defend with safe tiles. If you're gonna play the hand, play the hand, right? Keep on drawing blocks you can use, throwing away pairs that are safe and not useful. I think this is going to be pretty powerful the more we get used to it. It's just a lot to take in right off the bat. But anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Whether you... Whoa, don't do that. We're going to get screenception on you. Let us know in the comments below if you think this is useful. We'll probably try to aim for maybe some third place finishes. I think games where we get like rock bottom 4th maybe aren't the best. Maybe games where we get 3rd. We can see whether we had a chance at winning first and where we kind of lost positionally. Games where we get knocked out in 4th maybe are just bad luck and aren't that meaningful for the bot to analyze. But either way, we'll keep on trying. I think this is a useful tool. I think we're going to learn a lot from this. And we're gonna probably throw this kind of format into the rotation, see what we can do. Maybe review one of our games a week, and then we'll do like a cast or something. Anyways, that's it for this episode. If you liked it, please click the like and subscribe button. It really helps small channels like this one grow and reach a wider audience. And I hope you have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. Goodbye.